And we're going live right now. One moment. All right, there we go. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Portia's ending stream. I'm Dana. I'm the social media manager here. I'll be reading the comments for everybody. And Gabby, do you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, I'm Gabriella. I do the art for Porsha. And I
And hi, I'm Lynn. I'm the writer for Portia's Route. You've probably also, read my work. I also wrote Julian's Route and the Seasonal Tales. So today, Gabby's going to be mostly drawing, and I'm probably mostly going to be answering questions, but I have some art I can do as well if there's time for it between everything else. So first of all, a question that I see asked a lot that I really wanted to answer for people is how the process of writing a book goes. So first, yes, we have a different writer for each route. We had one per route pretty much. And while I also wrote the seasonal tales in between Portia books, we all only work on a single given story at a time. So I haven't touched anything on Fictive, for example, which is our sister app. And, when Grace was working on Lucio, she wasn't working on Fictive. So don't worry, we've been focusing on the Arcana.
Everyone's saying Gabby is kind of quiet.
Sorry, it's something with my headset. I'll try and speak up, but I don't think there's much I can do about it.
If you go to your settings, you might be able to play with the
I think it might be something with OBS. Sorry if you get tunneling from the thing, but...
Gotcha. All right.
Okay, so there were some questions about, how the actual, what our actual process is like, so to speak. So, for the first three routes, as we were working on them, we kind of wound up laying the railroad tracks as we were going. So a lot of it was actually improv. This was kind of a necessity given our structure at the time and how, we were basically in a rush to, get stuff out so we could stay afloat. But it wasn't the best process, and it was also really stressful on all of us as writers and artists because we didn't know what we were doing at any given point in time. So we didn't want to repeat that mistake with the second three routes. So we took a couple of weeks after the first three endings, to just brainstorm and lay everything out. We planned out all of the major plot beats, all of the major conflicts, and we even kind of figured out our major art requests, which side characters we wanted to have sprites, what kind of backgrounds we'd be looking at, what all the illustration would be, and where, that kind of thing. We had some flexibility, we could move things around. If it wasn't working out, we might change it a little bit, but generally, once we laid down the plan, we didn't deviate too much from it. And so we have on Arcana a really collaborative workflow. We had artists as part of brainstorms and the actual writing editorials, and writers would give feedback on art, oftentimes on expressions and things like that. I've lost track of the number of times I've shown Gabby a really ugly stick figure to kind of be something like this, maybe, I guess. Especially for expressions, I would just do really, really dumb smiley faces or whatever.
Yeah.
To get the mood across that I was going for. Since we have limited time and resources for each book, we were always looking for ways to kind of use things that were either based on existing assets or just use existing assets altogether. There's a lot that goes into actual practical game development. That's it's unfortunately, we can't blue sky it. We can't just do whatever we want and have as much time and resources as we want to do it. We kind of have to work within the constraints of, hey, we only have so much time to do this. We only have so much money to do this. What can we do given those limits? Things like that, where it's actually really fun to kind of work around that too, to think okay, what can we use for this background where we don't have time to draw an entire cityscape? Can we base it off something else? Can we bring in a contractor? Just anything where it's can we work with what we have? And if not, how can we do this in a way that's, realistic, but still looks really good. And I like to think we did a really good job of it. And so that's why it takes us about a month to do each book. Okay, so I'm going to get into some of the questions that were submitted from the forum. The first one I have here is like, why does Portia have magic? So in the world of the Arcana, everyone is theoretically capable of using magic. Some people have more raw talent than others, and so those people tend to be the ones who are trained as mages. They're recognized as having magical talent, etc. But technically, everybody in the Arcana world could learn to do magic to some degree or other. And when Tazia did the ritual, that brought magic forward in the world. So now she was able to just manifest that effect in an untrained way, which is why she makes a giant fist, because she's not trained. She doesn't know how to do special effects or things like that. It just kind of comes out as it goes. It just kind of comes out as a giant fist because she needed to punch something in that moment. Let's see. We had a question for, does Portia still have her peppy plushie from the Moon chapter? If not, would she try to sew one? So unfortunately, she doesn't have that plushie anymore. It was much loved and much mended, and finally could no longer hold together. And I think she still probably has like a piece of fabric from the original plushie as one of her mementos that she brought from Nevivon. I don't think she's thought about making a new one because she has real Peppy now, who's just as cuddly and very purry. But she could theoretically make a new one. Let's see. What have we got here? Portia's opinion on pineapple on pizza. I think Portia's opinion is that tomatoes are a fruit, and they belong on pizza. So there's no reason pineapple shouldn't also be on pizza. I think she's really adventurous with her food, so as long as it tastes good, she's really happy to eat it. And I don't know, pineapple on pizza, I think tastes pretty good.
Heresy.
Wow. I don't know if we can be friends.
No, wait. Okay, I'll give it a try.
I'm just saying, tomatoes, peppers, eggplant, those are all technically fruits, and they belong on pizza. There's no reason why pineapple can't be on pizza too.
Listen, can I still dip it in ranch? 'Cause that's all
you dip your pizza in ranch?
Hell yes, it's so good. Oh, look, I had to bring a little chaos to this stream.
I mean, if it tastes good, try everything once, right?
Garlic ranch and pizza is where it's at.
Huh. I mean, I can see that, I think. I think I can see that.
What were some more questions?
Let's see. We have a question about how does Portia keep coming up with very cheesy lines towards MC? So in character, it comes really naturally to her. I think she's read a lot of like cheesy romance stories and just generally like rom-com type stories. She loves that kind of like sweet but slightly cliche stuff. So out of character, how I do that is I test her lines on my coworkers, and if they groan or they go "aw," or ideally they do both at the same time, I know it's a winner. Let's see, we have some story questions. We have one about the meaning of the mirror in Volta's estate. This was during, I think, Strength, where it was one of the choices in the coin scene. So it's down a very specific path in a very specific scene. But if you'll recall, it showed a stormy sky. It's actually foreshadowing, because there's a storm that comes to Vesuvia right afterwards. So I'm glad somebody noticed that. And the big question, there's this one, we've got like 7 or 8 different variants on it, which is about Aunt Tazia. Spoilers ahead. Obviously, we probably should have mentioned that as a caveat at the beginning. There's big spoilers ahead. So things like, why does Tazia only appear in Portia's route? Why is Portia's route different? What led to the decision to include Tazia? So these all kind of tie back to the same answer. So just in a meta sense, out of character, the reason why Tazia only shows up in Portia's route is because she didn't exist until we were brainstorming Portia's route. When we were brainstorming initially, the big issue that we had to deal with was that Portia's never met Lucio. She wasn't directly involved with the events 3 years ago. She wasn't here while he was alive. She kind of arrived after the fact, and it didn't make it would have made sense if she was solving the mystery, but it didn't have the same kind of deeply personal stakes that it did for the other characters. So we were thinking, what can we do to make it deeply personal, really interesting to her specifically? So one of her key values as a person is family. This encompasses blood family, like Julian, and found family, like Mazlinka and Nadia. They're both really important to her. So we wanted to make that actually a central conflict for her. What happens when found family and blood family come into conflict? It didn't make sense for Julian to be the center of that conflict because ultimately he's on the same side. So we really kind of dug into her backstory and thought, what can we do to give her a family member, somebody who's close to her, could be really close to her, but has values that don't quite align and actions that really don't align. So yeah, in the meta sense, she didn't exist until we started planning Portia's route, and she's not the same kind of like important figure, high stakes, personal stuff for other characters, so she wouldn't have appeared in their routes anyways. So her design was based on like everything Portia wants and everything Portia's scared of. So Tazia, we thought she'd be very glamorous, kind of like an old Hollywood movie star. She's confident, she's charming, she's powerful, she's rich. She shows up in the nick of time to help solve Portia's problems. And in an early outline, we actually called her a Tazia ex machina. And that's definitely how she wants to be seen. She swoops in to save the day. And of course, she winds up causing even larger problems with her actions. And so initially we kind of thought of like, maybe Tazia will basically usurp Lucio's role. She would play a similar part to him as the Devil's Lieutenant, but she would be a much more personal antagonist than Lucio would be for Portia. But that actually wound up like not being really very exciting for us to like figure out, and we didn't think it would be exciting for players to read either. So we said, okay, let's go big. How big can we go with this? And that led to the conflict as designed in Portia's route. And incidentally, her internal conflict is really similar to Portia's. Tazia loves and values her family, but she's gotten so obsessed with what she perceives as, a mistake, a failure on her part, and she's so obsessed with undoing that and, bringing her daughter back that she's even willing to hurt the rest of her family for it. It's kind of a dark future for Portia, a possibility that, like, if she was so obsessed with saving Julian that she would hurt other people for it. And the sad thing really is that for Portia, the main character, MC, is her sort of counterbalance and helps her, supports her, loves her. But Tazia didn't have anybody to pull her back from that kind of dark obsession. Yeah, I think that's a pretty comprehensive look at Tazia, both out of character and in character.
I love her.
She's been so much fun to write. Like, my big thing with Tazia is that she's clearly not aligned with you. She's clearly an antagonist, but at the same time, I think a lot of like what her motives, her sort of mentality is really understandable in a way. She's somebody who's obsessed with a mistake that she's made, and she really wants to undo it no matter what, no matter who else gets hurt. And I think that's like that's something that a lot of people can fall into, albeit not usually with the same level of consequences. But it's something where it's like, yeah, like I'm sure a lot of people have had that kind of experience of like accidentally hurting people they care about or people that they don't know because of something that they want. see. We have a question that's more to the writing side on my end, which was, what was your favorite book to write? How much free reign were you given, etc.? So the way that we plotted out the story, because we did it in advance, where we set out all of the main plot beats and things like that, I actually didn't deviate too much from it. There were minor changes, but we always kind of knew where we were going with the story, and everything was kind of aimed towards that. And so the way that we approach writing for this is actually really lean. We usually work within like an established outline during the brainstorm, and then we just wind up fleshing it out more and more with each iteration, each draft. So that way we don't usually wind up having to cut entire scenes, which is faster for us and also leads to a lot less frustration, because every scene serves a purpose of some kind. So I had a lot of flexibility with her story. I was kind of allowed to be like, here's what I want to do with Portia, here's like the kind of conflict I want to explore with her, and then to do that. Did I change anything about Portia after her route was released? I actually didn't change too much. So I actually came on to Nyx Hydra during Julian Book 10. That was the first book that I... Was it Book 10 or Book 11? I'm forgetting at this point. It was a long time ago. But the core of her character was already in place. Nick established that before I ever got here. And so from what I understand, the key points of her character were roughly based on the symbolism of the star. So she's energetic, she's fun-loving, she has a good sense of humor, she loves secrets, she loves like feeling like, oh, I know something that nobody else knows. She loves that stuff. And her core virtue, the thing that drives her character, is hope. She wants to see the best in people, the best in situations, things like that. She always wants things to be better than they are, and she will work to make that happen. And I think that's really important and really wonderful. So relatedly, we have a question about how did you decide what to put in focus as Portia's fundamental weaknesses and bad habits? What's the psychology behind that? So that was partly informed by her own character and partly by the symbolism of the star. So Portia's biggest flaw in my mind is envy. She feels left behind by people in her life, Julian, who go out to have awesome adventures without her. But she also is in a point where she's kind of cast herself as the supporting actor. She doesn't seek out those opportunities on her own either, which she could if she wanted to, but she sort of thinks like, oh, I'm just the sister. I'm just the side character. I'm just the servant. She daydreams about being the leading lady, but she kind of is like, well, no, I could never be that, even in her own mind. So the MC can encourage negative growth in a variety of ways here, like encouraging her blind optimism, taking hope and making that, like, even when evidence clearly points otherwise, continuing to be like, no, everything's fine. There's a difference between hope and blind optimism, and sometimes it's really easy to blur that, because blind optimism can feel good, but it's not very helpful, and it's not realistic. We have a question about, let's see, fandom spaces. People asking if we drew inspiration from the fandom for Portia's route. So broadly, we as writers, as professional writers, we can't engage with fanon at all. We can't read fan fiction. We don't read fan theories, specifically to avoid accidentally absorbing any kind of ideas from it, or avoiding people saying that we copied them. That's especially true with how we planned out the second 3 routes, because we figured everything out well in advance, and we could lay down groundwork and foreshadowing for them. We had everything laid down in advance. So with that in mind, a lot of what people kind of thought, oh, they're copying fandom, I guess. I'm pretty sure that's, you guys were picking up on our foreshadowing. So I'm glad people were getting it. But yeah, like we can't read fan theories, so we don't. It would be cool to be able to engage with fandom in that way, but also, like, we have our visions for the story and we just follow that vision. I have a question about the sibling bond between Portia and Julian. Is it based off a sibling relationship that one of us has or has watched firsthand? So, me, I'm an only child. I have had no siblings ever. I don't have any kind of close relationship that's like that. So, I actually mostly based it off of Nick's guidance, based on like how Portia and Julian view each other. And then during the actual writing, I talked to coworkers and friends of mine who do have siblings, and relied as well on like my kind of internal media bank. So I've consumed a lot of media about siblings and about other things in general. It's kind of like using that to sort of inform how I write it. I do that with just about anything that I haven't directly experienced anyway, so it doesn't hurt. Let's see. What was the hardest thing to do for the story? So for Portia, for me, the hardest thing was figuring out how to convey that Portia struggles with side character syndrome. It's not an easy thing to explain that, like, hey, like, this is a person who always feels like she's outside of things, but also she's kind of afraid to take that first step and, put herself forward, join the party, so to speak. It's tricky. I don't know if I actually did a good job with this. Like, from a writer's perspective, like, I knew what I was doing, but I'm not sure how well or if that actually really came through really well. Let's see. So, was the ending hard to script and write? Were there original ideas you wanted to do but couldn't? So, just broadly, like, as a narrative designer, I like to really experiment with form and structure. You can see some examples of that with like how I wrote Julian's nightmare sequence in his route, or the mazes in the Fall Tale. I like playing with like how to make people feel certain things. How can I use the choices mechanic to my advantage? So I really enjoyed writing the high stakes card game that you play with Tazia and Portia's route. And I got to try something new for her upright ending as well that I hope people will be excited by. Okay. Oh, we have a question that I'm actually really excited to answer about who is my favorite side character to write. Valdemar. 100% Valdemar is my favorite side character to write. Like, Nazali's in a close second, but like Valdemar is by far my favorite. So they had their first extended scene in one of the first Julian books that I wrote, and it was really exciting because I got to really, kind of lay down their personality. There wasn't a lot in the document for them, so I kind of just went nuts with like thinking like, okay, like here's a character that's like somebody who genuinely enjoys their work, even if other people find it really grisly and kind of macabre, and they're just having a really good time. They would be having a better time if there was a plague or a war on, but they're still having a good time. They're finding things to enjoy. And it's kind of like taking all of the cool science teachers that I've had over the years and really pushing that personality to an extreme. In a similar vein, by the way, I have a background in biology and I have a lot of medical issues, so I'm kind of in and out of the hospital a lot. And so as a result, like I also have this kind of really cheerful, sort of irreverent attitude towards macabre medical things. So a lot of like how Valdemar acts is a really exaggerated version of how I would approach similar functions, just with, less empathy and more sadism and more ichor and goo, things like that. Everything could use like an extra eyeball or three, right? Like,
oh yeah.
So yeah, they're definitely one of my favorites. I also really like Nosley because I think of Nosley as kind of a cool older sibling, but Valdemar is the most fun by far. See, so we have a question about after the ending of Portia's route, will you write a new story about her? So I want to reassure you all, we're not abandoning the Arcana. There's lots of stuff we want to do with it. It's all under wraps still, but like rest assured, we're not just going to like release Portia and then that's it. We're done. You're never seeing us again. Don't worry about that. We'll share details as soon as we can. We also have a question about whether we would let players have their own characters in the game. So there's a couple of reasons for this, why we don't show the MC at all. from a creative standpoint, it lets people decide for themselves what the MC looks like. We do kind of assume that the MC has a basic humanoid body plan, but we try to avoid describing everything else as much as possible. A lot of visual novels out there, you'll notice, have set main characters. But whatever we picked for a set main character, we would be excluding a lot of people who don't look like that or who don't want their character to look like that. And we don't want to do that. We want to be, we want to let people imagine themselves or their characters in this as much as possible. And if we had, multiple preset MCs that you could choose from, we'd still be missing a lot of options, and we would need to make different versions of everything, and just technically and artistically, that's a lot to ask. And things like avatar creators, so like paper doll, avatar systems, those are incredibly resource intensive. Like both engineering and art-wise, there's a lot that goes into it behind the scenes. It'd be really expensive, it would take a lot of time and a lot of work, and we have limited resources. So in the end, we wound up prioritizing other things. Okay, I think I got through most of the form questions.
Good job.
One big rush. Let's see. Oh, there's a couple more that got added while I wasn't looking. Okay. So when the prologue chapters were rewritten, did you have a say in Portia's dialogue? Kinda. We were all sort of, in order to avoid like a lot of confusion, we had like one main writer working on that, and then the rest of us kind of chipped in for our scenes or our characters to kind of like really push that. So Portia's big thing is that she comes in as a fun friend, but we really wanted to push that she loves secrets. She loves finding things out. She's kind of sneaking around the palace, doing her own thing. Like she's got her own sort of secrets going on in the background. So I really enjoyed writing that scene with her. Wedding tales, a possibility, depending on how much people want them. Anything is possible. Cereal before milk or milk before cereal? I feel like this is a very contentious question. I haven't thought about it for the characters. For me personally, it's milk before cereal. Because if you put cereal before milk, then it all gets really soggy. Kind of nasty. I don't know, Gabby, what do you think?
What if you put too much milk?
Yeah!
You just drink the milk!
Mm-mm.
Why not?
Gross. Milk gross without cereal to sugar it up.
Yeah, but like if you put too much milk and then you add cereal, and at the end of eating the cereal you realize you have too much milk, then it's been sweetened by the cereal. But if you put too much cereal and then you add milk and then it gets soggy, then it's really nasty.
But
I don't actually mind soggy cereal.
Ugh. Ugh.
I don't know why, like, milk before cereal just never occurred to me. I think it's because it just makes sense to put liquid on top of something not liquid.
I think of it the other way around. I think of it as adding something solid to something that is liquid.
No. No.
I will be the lone holdout here, alright? I'll be the lone holdout.
It's Thursday. My brain can't comprehend these things today.
Look, I'm just saying that's my personal answer. Nobody else has to like it. That's just what I do.
You're the professional chef here, so I'm gonna trust you. If y'all didn't know, Lynn does most of our recipe video, or like our recipe videos that we have on TikTok and Instagram.
I'm very sorry if this ruins all the credibility that I had. I know I didn't have very much to begin with, but like I'm really sorry if this destroys anybody's image of me. I'm not a professional chef, though. I just like to cook.
Yeah, you're hurting my brain. Pineapple pizza, and now this.
Look, I'm just saying, try everything once.
You know what? That is incredibly fair. Look, soggy, fruity pebbles are delicious.
I mean, if you say so. The texture makes me feel really ill.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, I don't know what it is, but like mushy cereal, I just can't handle it. Oh, you know what? Actually, I wonder. So this is probably relevant information. I'm Chinese American, so I grew up eating breakfast that was warm soy milk, and then you dip like what's called a youtiao. It's a kind of Chinese like fried cruller. It's like it's not a donut. It's savory. But you dip that into warm soy milk.
That sounds delicious.
It's really good. So I wonder if that might be like the genesis of it. Like I wonder if that's it. But yeah, that's my backstory. Fun fact: I didn't actually have pizza until I was 10, so that might also be why I like pineapple on pizza. I don't have any preconceived notions of what should be on a pizza.
Dang. I literally can't remember.
I grew up Chinese American. What do you want from me? I tried to eat barbecue ribs with a pair of chopsticks the first time I had them.
Oh my god.
Listen, I was 8. I didn't know what to do with those weird things. They were sticky. What do you do? What do you do?
Oh yeah, I'll respond in chat every now and then, everyone. Don't you worry. I see you. Oh, I guess it was I'm sorry if I butcher this name, Kiki Zimmer that asked the question about pizza.
All right. I'm sorry. I'm looking mostly at the form for questions, just because it's easier for me to see that way and to kind of keep track of everything because chat keeps moving. So I usually look at the form.
That's
so
fair.
we have a question about how did I come to be part of the Nyx Hydra team, particularly on this story. So pure luck in some ways. So I actually was looking for a job. I had graduated from grad school. I was looking for a job as a game writer and not really having very much luck. And I spotted on Twitter, the Arcana Twitter announcing that they were hiring a writer. This was like a couple years ago at this point. Oh, God. This was a couple years ago. And I jumped on that as fast as possible. So here's some free advice for you guys if you're ever looking for jobs like this. It's as if you can apply within 1 day of a job posting, you are much more likely to be considered properly. This is not because of malice. It's because there's people looking at these kinds of job applications, especially at a small company. We don't use anything like automated to search anything. We read them all. And by like the 3rd or 4th day and the 400th application, we're tired. We're really tired. And it's just a human thing. We can just focus better on the earlier ones. So the earlier you get your application in, the better. So I got my application in within the first 100, within the first 24 hours. And from there, I did the tests and everything, and they decided I was a good fit. So I came on and they asked me, they said, we have 3 characters whose roots we're doing right now. Which one would you be most comfortable writing? And I told them which ones I'd be more comfortable writing, and fortunately that aligned with what they needed, and the rest is history. Let's see. Favorite main character and why? I try not to play favorites. I feel like that kind of comes through. I enjoy different things about all of the different main characters. But with side characters, my favorite is still Valdemar. Nosley in second place.
What's your favorite thing about each character?
Oh, how long do we want me to answer more questions, or do we want me to talk for the rest of the stream? I enjoy lots of things about each character. I love how clever Azra is. He always has really out of the box solutions for things. I find it really fun to write Julian when he's being really melodramatic and silly. I like Nadia because she's so smart and responsible and really strong. She's determined. She wants to get things done, and she does. I love Portia's sense of fun. She's got a great sense of humor. She's really she's got like a great sense of humor, a great sense of adventure. She's just really fun to be around. Lucia's a gremlin. Gremlins are fun to write. I don't have to be too serious. I can just say like, okay, like what would Lucio do at the beach? Bourbon beef, let's go. And then Muriel is fun to write because I think like he has this like really scary, tough outer shell, But as soon as you poke it in the slightest, you're like, oh, he's actually like a big softie who doesn't. He wants to just be soft and be quiet, to respect the woods, to love his dog. Well, his wolf, but she's his dog, and to be kind of like to be left to do his own thing, and I can respect that. He just wants to disappear into the woods, and mood. So what happens after the roots end? Is there another project in the works? So, like I said, we're not abandoning the Arcana. We still have plenty of stuff that we would like to do for it. Can't reveal too much about that just yet, but there is stuff upcoming. For me personally, I will be moving on to work on a story for Fictive. At the moment, it looks like Gabby will also be moving with me onto that story, so stay tuned. We'll let you know when there's more details.
That's exciting.
Yeah. So, what are Portia's favorite books, or what would they be in real life? Oh, it's really hard to say. I know she has a shelf full of cookbooks. You know she does. She's annotated them all with like her own little notes of like, add this, take out that.
She's gotta be into Treasure Island.
Yes, 100%. 100%. I would say Treasure Planet is her favorite movie too.
Oh heck yeah.
Or maybe Atlantis. Something like that.
Atlantis is so good.
It's really good.
Do you mind answering this one question real quick? Because I think it's important. Misha asked, wait, were the books written by different people? They're so consistent. I thought it was only one writer.
So it's one writer per character root. But yes, all of the roots were written by different people. The reason why they seem so consistent is because we have kind of a house style for the Arcana, and we hired people who could match that house style. And of course, during editorial, we kind of nudge things to be more in line with it anyways. You just kind of get good at writing in the style. Let's see. Why did we put the ending pictures in the thumbnail in the stream? Because that's what we do for teasers. You haven't seen the whole thing yet. You don't have the context for it. If you want to see the context, you gotta read the books. But, I'm getting a lot of questions about like what Portia's voice would sound like and what I would imagine that she sounds like. I'm really bad at voice canons. I'm really sorry. I don't know voice actors. I can't think of one off the top of my head. Let your imagination run wild. Sorry. Going down it. What inspired Lishka's character design? Gabby, I think this is...
Well, the basis for it was Porsha. Like, we wanted to make her look very reminiscent of Porsha. And then, from there, we wanted her to be a bit in contrast to Tazia, so we wanted to give her, like, more down-to-earth kind of peasant clothing, to kind of contrast with Tazia's Hollywood Regency style. And I think we took a lot of inspiration from, like, what was it, like, what's that area called? Like, Russian, kind of
Eastern
like
European?
Eastern European farmers, peasant style. But yeah.
Okay, now that questions are slowing down a little bit, I will actually draw, I promise. Goodness gracious. Let's see. We have a question of which of Portia's outfits are our favorites. So I know what my favorite is. Gabby, do you want to?
I think the favorite to design was probably her masquerade outfit.
I love her sleeves on it. Like, her silhouette is so interesting.
Yeah, it was really fun to design. I think that might also be my favorite just in terms of looks as well. But I also do kind of like the ones for the endings.
Yeah, the ones for the endings were really fun. I can't spoil too much about it, but just know that like we had something really specific in mind, and hopefully you guys will be excited to see the full things, the full outfits. What fictive characters would Portia be close with? I'm biased here. I love Anissa. I think she and Anissa would be good BFFs. They'd be really cute and fun together. Portia just dragging Anissa on all kinds of wild adventures. I think. Let's see, who else? I think Portia would. I think Portia would find that Sage reminds her too much of Julian. Really, he needs to stop day drinking. Both of them need to stop day drinking. You can't run away from your problems like that. It's bad. It's terrible.
I knew there was a reason I loved Sage. Not that I day drink, but
oh no.
I love a good himbo.
Does Portia have a favorite season? I think the transition period between spring and summer, because that's when a lot of like green things are growing in the garden and the weather's getting nice and warm and she can wear her favorite swimsuit. Oh, we have a question that's like, if we're going into fictive, who's going to be working on the Arcana updates? We will be. We will come back to the Arcana for.
We'll still be on it.
Yeah, like we'll be writing other stories as our main thing, but we'll still be coming back to write tales and such. And yeah, we are all working full time at Nyx Hydra. Thank God, because I don't think I could juggle another job in this.
Yeah.
Oh, me either.
Just the thought of it, I think Gabby broke out in hives.
I did too.
It's not just writing. There's a lot that goes into what we do here, and all of the content that we produce. As Dee mentioned, I also do, things like the recipe videos. So that's a lot of work and a lot of time, and I don't have the energy for more. Wish I did.
Hey, they look delicious, so you do a good job. The videos, I mean.
Let's see. Gabby, we have one for you, which was which character was the most fun to design? So I guess of the ones that you were doing design on.
Let's see. They're all kind of fun in different ways. I want to say, like, Valdemar's the one that stands out to me just because the assignment was go full Bloodborne on it. But I also really liked working on Azra's parents. And like all the sisters, like I don't know, they're all really fun. Oh, Mimi joined me. She's on my lap.
She has to give her opinion. If you want to know the main six's astrology signs, we have their sun signs. Their birthdays. I'm pretty sure they're in the app. Yeah.
They should be, but I can link the post in chat too.
Yeah. I don't know if we decided their moon and rising signs ever, but at least their sun signs. For the pumpkin bread, yeah, that was me. I baked the pumpkin bread recipe on the YouTube channel. It's actually based on a babka, which I really quite like.
Of course, now that I'm looking for this on our Tumblr, I can't find it.
It's always when you look for it that the posts disappear.
I know. Every time.
Where do seasonal and romance tales take place on the timeline? So we intentionally left it kind of blurry when those happen exactly, so that you can, depending on, it doesn't matter like how far you are in the story or not, you can still kind of enjoy them. So we intentionally don't place them specifically for any route. Also because all of the routes are different. Character design question. Do we consider things like textile development for costume elements, like stretch or synthetic materials, or do we just go with what looks cool and in character?
I mean, a little bit. Like, I'm also a cosplayer, so it's kind of second nature to kind of think about, like, oh, what kind of material is this? I think in general, we...
You came back in right in time for for I don't know if that answers the question.
Oh, God, sorry.
It's okay. It was perfect timing.
But yeah, to answer the question, I don't think... because a lot of the times we'll source inspiration from historical garments, the consideration that fabrics will be synthetic, it's like we kind of don't consider that. Like, I guess it would be whatever is historically the garments would be made of, that's what kind of materials would be used. Um, I'm trying to think of if there's a situation in which we kind of break that rule. I can't think of a moment when, yeah. Sorry, words are hard. But did I go through?
I think so. That time you did.
Okay.
We have a question about who makes the ads. That's a third-party company that we work with.
Yeah.
Add tea.
There's no T. It's just a third party. Would any main Arcana character watch anime? If so, what genre or what anime? I think Portia's a big shonen fan, for sure, right?
Oh yeah.
Like 100%. I'm kind of rusty on what the modern stuff is, so I don't really know what specifically she would watch, but she's definitely a shonen fan. I want to say that shonen and magical girl anime, 100%. She is our very own magical girl. So she even has the mascot. It's perfect. I think Azra also would like magical girl anime, huh? It's colorful, it's cute.
Everyone's talking about My Hero now.
Yeah, I think My Hero would be a good one. I'm not caught up on it whatsoever, but we were actually talking about it a little bit before stream.
We were. Do you think that Portia would get along well with Izuku?
I think so. I think they'd have a lot of fun talking.
Yeah. Fangirling.
Yeah. Is there any special reason why characters have things like stretch marks and body hair? Gabby, I know this is important to you with Portia as well.
Just the fact that people have that in real life, and like I know for me, like I have a butt chin, so like especially with um oh my god, I forgot her name. They're all N names. Nazra.
Mazalinka?
No, Nazra.
Oh,
Or Navra. Navra
Nabra, yeah.
and her mom. Like my family or my brothers kind of teased me for my butt chin, and it was kind of a source of self-consciousness for me for a really long time, until I started just putting it in my art, and it made me feel better about myself. So I was like, okay, let's do the same thing for other stuff that people might feel self-conscious about. And I mean, that's like even though I'm like relatively skinny, like I have stretch marks. So it's like it's a perfectly normal thing to have, so why not add that into the art, you know?
I know the feeling. So I actually also have a lot of stretch marks, even though like I'm a fairly smaller person, just because of like again the health issues. So things like you can also get stretch marks from losing weight really fast, like say due to medical issues. So like it's really wonderful to see characters that have those things, because then it kind of feels like, oh, like these are people who have like um, the same kinds of life events and issues as I do, and everybody loves them, and that's really
It's like
wonderful.
so rarely seen in art,
Hmm.
and like even a small detail like that can make a difference.
And it feels really nice to be validated.
Yeah.
Also, who has time to shave their legs every day?
Dude, I can't
Portia's
tell
busy
you.
getting things done.
I
I
can't tell you the
know.
last time I shaved my legs.
I
I
know.
mean, to be fair, there is a pandemic on.
Even before the pandemic.
Yeah,
Exactly.
also that. That's fair. I hate shaving my legs, so I just don't do it.
I'm like
Yeah.
a tiny yeti. It takes forever to shave them.
Yeah, I have a skin condition called I actually forget the name. Something pilaris. It's like chicken skin, basically.
I have it
So
too.
yeah, I get little bumps all over my skin, and so whenever I try to shave over like my arms or my legs, the razor will catch on them. So
Oh,
it's really uncomfortable and unpleasant to shave, and I just don't like doing it. So I love seeing like MCs and characters that have body hair. Hey, chicken skin gang. Yeah.
yeah.
I was so self-conscious about it when I was younger. I actually never wore shorts because it's really bad on like my thighs and stuff, and I hated people seeing that, so I just never wore shorts. And these days I'm just like, whatever. I'm wearing shorts. You can't stop me.
Yeah.
It's hot. I'm not going to wear full pants. Absolutely not.
I get it on my arms, so I used to wear a lot of like longer sleeve stuff for the same reason.
Hmm. I have it on my arms too. Yeah, I never wore short sleeves until I was an adult, and I ran out of energy to care.
Yep.
I'm
Once
just
it
like, if
gets
it bothers people so much, they can pay for my cosmetic surgery or whatever.
yes. Okay, we got some comments.
Boy. Let's see. Do we think the Arcana would make a good animated series slash show slash movie one day? I would love to see that.
Yeah.
I would love to see that. I can't say any more. Um, what range of historical time periods do we set the world in? So it's a big mixture. I know the main inspiration is sort of Renaissance era Italy, but that's not the only inspiration. Obviously, magic makes a really big difference in how things have developed And of course, different parts of the world are at different technology levels and things like that. Let's see. So does Tazia have a patron arcana? This actually ties somewhat into how patron arcana work in the world, as well as like, how is Portia tied to the star, that kind of thing. So I think I'll kind of get both of those questions at once here. So the way that patron arcana are not really assigned, it's really much more of kind of like a personal alignment. So it's kind of like an unconscious personality assessment. So people in this world, they don't choose a patron arcana. And it's not like a zodiac sign where you're kind of assigned it at birth. It's much more of a like, do you act, behave, think in ways that are closely aligned to a specific arcana? Because that brings you somewhat more into alignment with that arcana. But people are mutable, and so that can change over time. That can, if you become more like one or the other, maybe your patron arcana changes. It's really much more of kind of like an alignment or quote unquote personality quiz, but it's an unconscious one. So Portia is aligned with the star, but maybe later in life that would change. Probably not, because it's a pretty strong part of her personality that's aligned with the star. But like it could theoretically change. For that very reason, Tazia does not have a patron arcana officially. In my mind, she's somewhat linked to the tower.
Ooh.
Do we ever find out who all of the characters involved in the ritual are and which arcana they're linked to? Yes, this information is kind of spread over the different routes, but we do actually have a seating chart of who all the characters are and what they're linked to and all of that. We never made that public because it was more for our reference in writing. There's a kind of axiom in writing that's sort of like, you need to know everything, and then you only need to show like the very smallest bit of it, but you need to know everything because that will inform how you write everything. Portia feel about body hair on herself? She's cool with it. Beauty standards, I think, in Vesuvia are also quite a bit different. So for her, it's not something she cares about. It's not something she minds. It's not something people judge her about. She just chooses not to shave. What odd, funny fear does Portia have? Oh, I have to think about that one. I don't have anything off the top of my head. Oh, I know what she's afraid of. Reaching into a bag of like fruit and you touch something mushy. Ugh. Ugh, I'm grossing myself out thinking about it. That's the worst feeling. It is the worst feeling. It's terrible.
So random.
Listen, I only thought of it because I did that recently. I reached into a bag of lemons, and you don't want to reach into a bag of lemons and touch something soft. You really don't.
That's incredibly fair. Oh God.
It's terrible. It's the worst. I like that everybody is also just like, oh, that's terrible. I know, it's awful.
Just got shivers down my spine. Same.
Yeah, I just, remembering it. Ugh. Unfortunately, as somebody who cooks, that happens to me a lot. Where I'm like, this spinach is still good. The spinach is not still good.
Oh. Just had that happen. I was midway eating my salad, and I was like, this is disgusting.
Oh no! That's the worst.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you hate to see it.
Uh-huh.
Oh, people who work in a grocery store. I didn't even think of. Oh no!
Oh, no.
I'm sorry. The absolute
wet
worst,
socks
let me tell you.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wet socks are also terrible. It's even worse because, like, we're all in Los Angeles, right? And so normally it's nice and sunny, but then sometimes you just get random downpours.
God.
And always the wet socks, worst part of it, because none of us are ever prepared.
Nope.
Or at least I'm never prepared.
I weirdly prefer wet socks over bare feet, like wet and cold.
See, I don't, because, like, the wet socks just kind of hold the wetness to you. I don't know if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
It's all bad. It's all bad.
What do you think about fan art?
We love it. We're really happy whenever we see that people are inspired to create things. Oh, I should say, like, with fanfiction too, we love that you guys create these things. We just, for legal reasons, we can't read them. I can't actually look at any of it. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
But it makes us really happy that people are inspired.
We can look at the fan art, though.
Yes, we can.
It looks good most of the time. It's great.
Why'd you make her buttons so complicated? Gabby.
Oh, on
Why'd you make her buttons so complicated?
I
know they look good, but oh.
I think it's like one of those situations where it's like, oh, it looks really cool, but it's gonna be a total pain. And then
you do it, and it is a total pain.
Yeah.
As often happens with designs. I remember feeling that way about Azra's masquerade costume too, where I was looking at it like, this is so beautiful, and I'm gonna suffer so much to render it.
Yeah.
I have multiple windows open, so I'm only occasionally checking the form. Will Portia and the star have a tale together, or will they ever meet? It's possible. Everything is possible. I certainly won't say no. For many reasons, we unfortunately couldn't have the star show up in Portia's route. The biggest one was that we have limited time and resources for everything. And so we discussed it, and we kind of figured, okay, it would be really cool to have Portia meet the star, but it's not central to her personal conflict in the same way that, say, like, meeting death and learning about transition would be. Oh, what are the courtier's zodiac signs? I don't think we ever decided that. I know with Valdemar, at least, they've been a demon for so long that probably whatever calendar system or zodiac system was actually used around when they were human is long since disappeared. So hard to say.
Or it's changed.
Mm-hmm.
Like technically the zodiac of people being born now is different. Like there's now a third sign. Or
Sidereal versus Roman systems.
A 13th sign.
Yeah, Ophiuchus. It depends on whether you follow, I think it's tropical or sidereal systems.
Mm.
Sorry, I was a bit of a zodiac nerd in high school. But I've since forgotten most of it, so... would any of the characters be interested in true crime? Portia, 100%. True crime, ghost hunting, like paranormal activity, horror movies, like She loves it all. Anything with like mystery and suspense and whodunit, she loves it. There's also questions about like Julian with Ilya versus, and of course, like in a similar vein, Portia and Pasha. So Julian isn't a fake name any more than Portia is a fake name. It's sort of like a Vesuvian version of what their names, how their names would be pronounced. If that makes sense. It's, I guess a parallel would be like an anglicization, something like that. But it's Portia and Julian are their names. It's just that like if they were first introduced as Pasha and Ilya, then people might prefer to call them that. So it really mostly tells you like when they met that person. Can Valimar still be turned back into a human, or would they just die if all the deals were removed? They would probably just dissolve. It's been so long for them. There's not really much left of who they used to be. We're talking eons and eons. We're getting typing.
Oh, that's me. I was answering a question in the stream about brain just fried. About it being possible to make your own MC. I just answered that. We answered that earlier in the stream.
Oh yeah.
To watch it back later.
Yeah, the short version is maybe if we got like another 3 engineers and a couple of artists. But yeah, it's really expensive and time consuming to make avatar systems like that. And of course, if we did it, we would want it to be as inclusive as possible.
Yeah. Keyboard ASMR. Brain go burr, exactly. It's Thursday. It happens.
Y'all are lucky I haven't set up my mechanical keyboard yet.
Oh?
You would get that clacky clacky noise nonstop.
It's so great. Do you have anything on Portia's parents?
Only the very basic strokes. I kind of know for myself like what kind of people I imagine they were. That's something we might explore in a future tale, maybe. Like I said, anything is possible.
Will there be Arcana stickers in the store at any given point? We just did worm stickers. That was a fun little thing we did. Do check out Monsieur Caitlin Demoise of Wormington on our social. Be proud of that. But yeah, we are talking about stickers. That is a ongoing discussion. So stay tuned.
It was a really fun time.
Oh my gosh, those I had to stop myself from ordering like 100 of them. Them everywhere. Oh, Aaron says we have stickers. My bad, we have stickers.
Heck yeah.
Also, hello. Let me just drop a sweet Arcana store. Oh my god, you're gonna send me stickers? Thank you. She's slacking me. Oh my god, duh, yeah, the Foss stationery kit. I forgot that there were stickers in that. Oops.
It's so cute, you guys. I ordered one. So cute. I'm a big stationery person, so I was really happy.
I'm gonna add Aaron into the chat. Wait.
Come on, keyboard. You can do it. Thank you.
It's Ash, isn't it? Oh, apparently we're not friends. Okay, hold on.
Oh, no.
I know.
Lots of questions about like past tales and like story related tales. We would love to do those. Again, it's in discussion. There are a lot of things. Ooh. Are we all okay?
What?
I thought I heard like stuff brushing the mic and stuff.
Oh, that's. Let me mute myself. I am so sorry.
Is it a cat?
Yep.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Sometimes Selkie will whenever I like go out into the living room while my headset's on, sometimes Selkie will cheek rub the mic. It's an experience.
She also likes to micromanage me.
Mm-hmm. She's on your
up,
desk all day.
Yeah, she'll hop up on my desk and sit right in front of my face.
Yep. Or she'll lie on your keyboard. She'll lie across your drawing arm. Sometimes I go over there. She's just sitting between you and the screen staring at you.
Yeah.
No more work. Which Arcana characters would play dating sims? Portia, 100%. 100%. If there were dating sims in the world of the Arcana, she would be playing them.
I feel like Azra would be interested in them too. I feel like...
Yeah, I think he'd have fun with
I
it.
think they both have similar interests.
Yeah. I think maybe Nadia would enjoy them as well.
I was thinking that too, but I didn't want to say anything.
I think she'd enjoy them as kind of like, oh, like this is really fun. Like it's a wonderful world. A nice little bit of escapism. Character plushies. We hear ya. In a similar vein, character figurines. We hear you. That's about all I can say is we are considering many, many options. It's just a matter of, what do we have the time and ability to do? We're a relatively small team still, and so there's only so many hours in the day for all of us.
How much longer did we want to stream for?
I think I was planning for us to go like an hour, 2 hours, something like that. But
okay. Just check in because we passed the 1 hour mark.
Yeah.
I don't mind if we want to keep going.
Yeah, as long as you're good with it.
Yeah, I'm good. I'm having fun.
Yeah, this is a lot of fun. Samia, we have body pillows. They should still be on the store, yeah?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
We have body pillows.
Aaron's coming in for some of those merch questions in a second.
Aaron is our merchandise manager. As far as side ships go, there's one of those things where it's kind of like, it's nice to do them when we can, but we also don't want to push them at the expense of, story or other characters. So we included them where we could, where we thought they would feel natural and where they might be interesting for character development or story development. The artist for the Faust Friend Train tape was Koi, or Fish and Bacon. It's FISHNBACON. And she's amazing. She did really cute work.
She also did the art for Muriel Root.
And the rest of the Faust stationery set was her too.
Yeah.
Saturnava's all N-letter names. You would have to ask Nick that. That decision was made. I don't think any of us were here for that decision. Probably because it was a nice kind of sort of poetry in a way. A nice naming scheme. Parents often have that for kids, right?
Yeah.
I'm an only child. I don't know anything about sibling names. As far as polyroots, that was something we've definitely floated as an idea. Depends on what the demand is. And again, balancing that with everything else as well. I can say they sound like kind of a pain to write, but nothing that can't be overcome.
Hello.
Aaron.
Hi there.
Hey. All right, now I can't see the chat right now, so I'm going to try and get that set up, but Dana said that I could visit, so hello.
There are merch questions.
Hello.
So everybody welcome Aaron.
I was lurking in the chat, seeing what everyone wanted. Someone asked for stickers. I've got stickers, so come on and get some stickers. I got cute ones. I got worms. The worms are my favorite. Come visit.
Come visit.
Come play with us. I would love to send you stuff. Busy right now because we had candy charms come in and the pieces were too small and I cried a lot. So those will be coming in soon, but now
Don't cry over merch.
I'm always crying over merch. Always crying.
It should be tears of joy.
Sometimes it's tears of joy.
It should be always tears of joy.
Oh, thank you. But Gabby, your Portia is so cute and I cry. Those are tears of joy.
Thank you. It's been a while
So.
since I painted anything, so I figured I'd loosen up.
Beautiful. It's beautiful. And I'm so excited for Portia 21 because she's one of my very favorites, and I'm really thankful for you guys because you got to the very end. And you guys are doing great.
We did. I'll feel happier once I'm not as tired, honestly.
Yeah.
You get to go on vacation a little bit, don't you?
I do. I get to get a little bit of a break.
Wonderful.
Yes.
I need to recharge. Oh, sorry.
That's okay. I would talk over you. Yes, Kirsten, Aaron is the person who writes the dungeon updates.
Greetings from the box dungeon. She's here in person.
Right. There we go. Box Dungeon coming to you kind of live. There we go. I got the chat set up so I can answer questions now. I just had to mute it because I was going to be getting some echo. My wonderful shipping assistant and wife is looking at me like, what are you doing? Just talking into the ether. I'm on stream, babe. I am not being... Sierra says I sound like I'm being held at gunpoint. I'm not. I'm just trying to be nice.
You're making a hostage video?
Yeah. Just... Hello. Oh, look at that Portia side profile. So pretty.
Please don't yell. If there might be questions that I can't answer or can't answer given the time constraints or, other stuff or things that I just don't know the answers to, so I can't answer everything, and I'm sorry about that.
Did see a question from Cerise Bun that says thoughts on modern AUs. Nice. I like it. It gives you an opportunity to explore things in a different lens. We also have charms for that. There's my shameless plug.
We do have charms for that. They're very cute.
Yes.
We do have an ask about tutorials on drawing the characters in the Arcana art style. That would be if Gabby is still alive and able to do it. It's one of those things where, it would be nice to do, but we may not have time. So no promises, but we do see the request for them.
I saw a question that said, Aaron, are you a sticker dealer? Yes, that's absolutely true. That's one of my many titles, actually. I also
don't limit yourself. You're also a charm dealer.
Yes, I like to consider myself overall as the CEO of Plastic Crap. So anything you want.
Aaron, no swearing on stream.
Oh no, I'm so sorry.
It's okay.
You didn't hear that. Do as I say, not as I do. You didn't hear any of that. Stuff.
You're
CEO
the dealer of plastic.
Stuff. Yeah, plastic dealer.
Ooh, favorite Saturnava sister.
Nazmira.
I like Nosley.
I think mine's Navra, but that's because I'm partial.
She's beautiful.
She is.
Nazali's a fan favorite in the Box Dungeon.
They're a lot of fun to write. I have vague ideas that, again, no promises. Do not take this as a promise. It is not. I'm really sorry, but we really can't commit to anything here. But I have vague dreams about writing a tale with them where you're going very Doctors Without Borders on a mission of aid with them. That would be really nice. Again, you did not hear a promise. It is not a promise. It's just something I've thought about on my own.
I saw someone asked about what D&D class I think it was for Portia would be. We actually did a bunch of D&D sheets last year for the Save Portia campaign, so I'm gonna link Gumroad here. Y'all can free download all of the D&D sheets we made.
Made those too.
Yeah, you should.
That was Lynn.
I'm kind of a jack of all trades here. I have a lot of different interests that I've kind of dabbled in, and so I wind up just doing a lot of stuff. For example, the sound design in pretty much most of the roots, a lot of the sound effects and the music loops and music effects are things that I did in Audacity in my very unprofessional way.
It's very good. I think there was one of the bug sound effects that you did. I actually threw.
Everybody talks about that one.
On one hand, you do all these creepy bug sound effects, but then you also you did kind of a spin on one of my favorite songs in Ozra 21, and I remember we had a little rap party with some friends, and I broke down sobbing. I talk a lot about crying. I just have a lot of emotions, but it was
Aaron,
really good.
I'm worried about you.
It's okay.
At least it was tears of joy.
It was tears of joy. It was really beautiful. So
okay, that's good.
Yeah. Also, in terms of being a jack of all trades, Lynn, you also just did art for our phone grips.
I did.
Yes, so you're going to start hearing more about those pretty soon because we wanted Portia to get the limelight right now, but Lynn does art. Lynn does some art.
Times.
Yay.
As you can see with tiny Portia here.
She's beautiful.
I love her so much.
Ooh. The coffee's going off. Oh dear.
Oh, courtier lore. Okay. Any specific courtier?
Vlastimil personally packed all of your worm on a strings if you ordered worms.
With love.
With love.
Don't worry, he moisturized.
No slime this time. Just the right amount of moist.
I hate that so much.
Alright, someone asked, yeah, you spelled my name right. Box Dungeon Master, do you just manage the shipping parts and coordination, or are you also involved in the ideation? Usually I let our artists kind of decide where they're going to go. I'll sometimes throw an idea into the ring and they'll decide if that's something that they want to do. The longer I've been here, the more I'm coming up with ideas, but for the most part, I just do logistics and administration because someone needs to do the administration part of art. So I turn the thing on the paper into a thing that you can put on your bag or a sticker that you can use. So that's mostly my job, but thank you for asking.
A lot of really good work, and we're really excited whenever we see, beautiful artwork turned into beautiful merchandise.
Yeah. I also do see people taking their own spins on some charms. Like, I know that people will do their MCs in the style of, like, Spring Wedding or our Sea Life of the Stars Realm charms, and I just think those are so neat.
Yeah, I like
It
those.
is really awesome.
You should see the fruit ones recently.
Oh, fruit ones are so cute. It's one of my favorites. I can't wait for the actual sized ones to come in because I was so sad that they came in so small. So people started doing their MCs, and so cute. So thank you guys. Because it really makes our day, makes my day. Is it worth it?
I'm always really happy to see people get inspired to create things. It's one of the best things about being a creative,
yes,
is inspiring other people to be creative.
Yeah, you guys are so creative, and it's wonderful. Oh, thank you. Some of you are very appreciative. Thank you. I appreciate you. Do y'all see who orders most? Like regulars, I tend to see a lot, and I always wonder if you could see patterns. Oh, honey, without going into too much, I can see everything. I'm going to leave that purposefully cryptic, so you can spin your wheels about that. Oh, I see everything.
The voice of someone who's seen too much.
Oh, I'm trying to keep it nice, I promise.
So, we have a question about what's the principal reason Valdemar made deals? So that they could continue doing medical experimentation forever. It's really such a shame that, like, normal humans have such normal lifespans and they can't do all of the dissection that they really want to do.
I agree.
So they fixed that. Don't worry. Side effects may include oozing ichor, growing extra eyeballs. Don't worry about it. It's all signs that it's working.
Spouse material, honestly.
I don't know about that. Liz, I wrote them and I don't know about that.
Listen.
I love them as a character. I think as a spouse they would be more married to their research.
Oh, of course. They're not interested. It's weird.
You're interested. Okay, that's fine.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. It doesn't need to be. It doesn't need to be, like, it can be weird. I'll change the subject now.
Oh, and I'll say that, like, writing Valdemar is also a personal joy because I'm also agender, aromantic, asexual, and so, like, it was really fun to be able to write a character who's like me, but can be a lot of the things that, like, obviously I don't want to be. Like, they're really brilliant, very curious, endlessly, experimenting, but also, like, really sadistic.
It's a nice outlet.
Yeah. Sometimes I just want to write characters that are like me, but don't have to be as good as I have to be in the real world. Valdemar's true form. You've seen it in a couple of the routes now, I think. Yeah. We don't draw it simply because we decided that as much fun as it might be to get Gabby to draw Eldritch, massive flesh Valdemar, it also gives a physical shape to them, and the whole point of their character is that their true form is extremely hard to perceive, very confusing, really disorienting, kind of nauseating. There's not really a good way to do that with a still image, and so we decided to just let the description do the work. I'm sorry, Gabby, you didn't get to draw flesh.
It's okay. I understand the reasoning.
I was under the impression that it's like kind of that horror movie thing where it's scarier to not see the monster.
Yes. Also,
and it's just like the imagination is always going to be scarier.
Yep.
It's
from a meta perspective, it's that.
Yeah. Guillermo del Toro being like, don't show them the monster until the absolute last second, and that's really scary.
Or sometimes don't show them the monster at all.
Mm-hmm.
Content with the Saturnava sisters. We would love to. I really enjoy writing the different sisters. I think they have really interesting personalities and as well as really interesting interactions. Natika's a lot of fun to write too. She's a big troll. It's really fun.
I know someone asked Gabby about art blocks.
Art block? Oh boy. The only advice I can give for that is to just work through it. Yeah.
Take breaks.
Take breaks. Don't. I guess it's a fine line between knowing when to push yourself and when to take breaks. So a lot of the time it's just knowing yourself and being easy on yourself. A lot of the times it's a situation of having to push through it.
Yeah, as a professional, the deadlines won't wait.
Yeah. There's unfortunately like you said, deadlines won't wait. And in a lot of ways that does help because it forces you to create. But on the other hand, again, you gotta know yourself and know when it is time to stop.
Yeah, if I could piggyback off on that a little bit, because I think writer's block is kind of a similar thing. So as a professional, right, one of the biggest assets for a professional writer specifically, it's not writing talent. It's being able to do work consistently, even when you don't really feel like doing it. Unfortunately. Sometimes that means, like, you can't wait for inspiration before you start working. Or else you'll never do anything. You'll never get anything done. But you also have to know, like, when is it a sign that, actually you're burning out, you need to take a break, you need to take some time away from it. So, like Gabby said, it's a really fine line. And especially for professionals, it's one we have to learn how to navigate.
I've also found that relying on your support system would also help too. So if you have someone who is like a very close friend, like saying like, hey, I'm really going through this, and they're like, well, let's try and unpack that. So
having people to lean on is important in a professional sense too. Your coworkers. One of the big benefits of having multiple writers on the Arcana is that, if I'm really stuck, I've got absolutely nothing, I can then turn to one of my coworkers and say, hey, I need help. What should I do here? Or, I need your eyes on this scene. Like, does it read well? Am I delusional? And they'll help me out with that. A lot of it is heavily collaborative,
I have a creative writing degree. So the best advice I got was in community college before I transferred to university, which was go where art and writing is happening. That can be a little bit hard, especially in the pandemic, but like there are circles of like novel writers in your area. Like there just are novelists, there are writers, there are artists, and if you kind of sit with those people and you learn about their process, it's inspiring to talk to other people, basically. So go where art's happening. yes, go where the art is happening, go where the writing is happening. And even if you feel like you can't get stuff done, just being there to support other people is usually really a balm for the soul, I would say.
Yeah. Even in this age of the pandemic, I know there's Discord servers for creatives.
Yes.
Doing things like writing sprints with other people, or even just talking about stuff with other people can really help too.
Yeah. And this isn't necessarily compare yourself to others. This is recognize your process, not compare it, or listen to what others do and know that you're going at your own pace. And sometimes you need to push and sometimes you need to rest. And being kind to yourself and being transparent with yourself is always a good step.
Mm-hmm.
Kirsten Elizabeth asked, did you guys go to school for art/writing and do internships?
Gabby, if you want to go first, because mine is kind of involved.
Yeah. I did go to art school. I went to art center. Had a capital T time there. I did not do internships. But I would highly recommend them. I unfortunately was in a situation where I couldn't get one. Because I waited too long. But yeah, that's my answer.
I actually, I first started off as a science major, so I was originally pre-med. Realized very quickly that the stress of actual medical school would kill me, and then swapped over to psychology instead. And then from there, I was like, okay, you know what? You only live once. I could spend my entire life doing things that I don't particularly like to make a paycheck, and then go home and do the things I do like. Or I could get a paycheck doing things I do like. And I swapped over to games. So I went to grad school for interactive media. So I have a background in not just, visual novels and interactive narrative, although that was my focus there, but I also have a background in working on things like edutainment. So educational games for kids and stuff like that. I think you can kind of see some of that background in like how I work in the Arcana space, and hopefully on other projects that will have more details soon.
Susanna says, where did you get the inspiration to make the characters? But I don't know if you wanted to go into what you knew about Nick and Dana's process for the characters, but
so a lot of that I think is covered in the art book too. Yeah, I wasn't here for that directly. I kind of came on a little bit later, and Gabby, I know you came on later as well. We could talk about the characters that we did help create. I can always talk about Tazia. I find her so fascinating.
Please talk about Tazia.
I find her so fascinating. She was really a lot of fun to kind of figure out and get in the head of and everything. Just I think for Tazia, my big inspiration too was for her design and her mannerisms. It's very much like she's sort of nouveau riche, right? She's sort of like old school 1920s-ish Hollywood glamorous, but she's also a person who loves so powerfully that it's caused her to go down a really dark path. Something about that to me is just so fascinating. It's that thin line between being a hero and being a villain, right? It's like, at what point, loving your family and wanting to protect them, to save them, that's a noble thing, but at what point do you cross the line into hurting other people for it? What point do you hurt yourself for it? She's mentioned this, and I didn't go into a lot of detail because there wasn't really a reason to. She's given up a lot in pursuit of her goals. I don't know that I'll ever actually be able to explore that, just because I don't know kind of in what situation I'd be able to put that into a tale or something, but she's given up a lot. And it's like, at what point does a virtue become destructive? what point does something good become something evil? Really interesting to me.
Gia asks, how exactly do you get into character design for games? I'm hoping to work my way towards a job like that.
I don't know if I would be the best person to ask for advice, because in my situation, I got this job as knowing a friend. And I think that could probably be your best bet, is knowing someone. And obviously you have to have good work. You have to, have a good portfolio. But yeah.
If I could piggyback off that too. Sorry, this is something I get asked a lot as well. Like, how do you get into games writing and things like that? And I think it's a similar kind of answer where you need obviously to have the portfolio. You need to have the work quality. You need to be able to actually do the job or you won't last very long. But a big thing in the games industry especially is networking. And I don't mean this in the sense of like go somewhere and hand out your business card and ask everybody for jobs. I mean in the sense of like if we're looking at an open position and I have worked with somebody in the past and I say, hey, like I've worked with this person before, they were professional, they were on time, they're productive. It doesn't even have to be in a professional sense. Like there was a person I recommended for work here once who we had worked together during a game jam. But that experience at the game jam was really positive. And so when the situation came up, I was like, hey, like, I know this person. And so having that personal connection, having someone who says, yes, I've worked with this person before, they're good to work with, it doesn't have to be on a professional thing, a fan project, a zine, a game jam, anything. Having that kind of experience and that positive working relationship with other people is really important. Because if you think about it, when you're working on a game, you're working for years with somebody, potentially, right? And if you don't like them, or you clash, or you have you have a lot of disagreements about how work should be done, it's just not pleasant. So most people will default to, I know somebody, or this person comes recommended by somebody I trust. What kind of dance does Navra do? All of them. I think she's practiced a lot of different kinds of dance. She enjoys a lot of different kinds of dance. She's out there having a good time.
Gabby, can I just say I adore the way you draw hair.
Thank you.
Yes.
Those twirlies. She's so happy.
Portia's hair, especially when it's down in like her casual outfit, it's just so beautiful.
Yeah, I really like it.
For whatever reason, the chat is just
Obsessed
soup.
Soup? Yep.
Soup. I'm like, all right.
Is it because of Valdemar and Soup?
I
Yeah.
think so.
Sure is.
So the basic answer is Valdemar doesn't need to consume sustenance in order to live. They can. They don't need to. And soup is not very high on their list of foods that they like. But there's always time for tea.
Now, if we were to say, this is like so mundane. Isn't tea a kind of soup? Tea soup?
Oh no.
Beef soup?
How dare
You don't want to start this with me, okay?
Listen, a cube rule of food.
Yes, which I introduced to you.
I agree. I'm trying to remember.
The
Because there's
cube
a
rule
whole
of food
website
is
about
that
the cube rule.
yeah. Look, tea is technically a kind of soup, but also I don't know. Look, I introduced you to the cube rule of food, and I have regrets.
Yes, because now I won't let it go. Because it's exactly that thing where if you try to quantify something, someone's going to follow all those rules. For example, what was it? One of the philosophers came in with a plucked chicken and said, "I've found you a man."
Behold a man. Yes.
Behold a man. Featherless biped.
Yeah, it's that.
So we can't go into this on stream because then we won't talk about anything else and no one's going to be having fun. So enjoy your soup. If you want to discuss the cube rule of food in the comments, please go ahead.
I will say that regularly my status on Discord is soup, a wet salad.
That's true.
The cube rule of food is based on the carbs and where they are in a
Yeah.
food.
That's fair.
If it has all four walls, it's a calzone.
Mm-hmm. No, I think it's 3 walls is a calzone, right?
What are Portia's opinions on the cube rule, Lynn?
Oh boy.
Bring it back on topic.
Is it delicious?
Yes.
She will eat it.
Perfect. Now you know. Chat room.
It doesn't matter what it's qualified as in the cube rule of food. What Portia cares about is it delicious and can she eat it?
Yes and yes. Therefore, it's food.
All right,
It's all food.
What is Portia's favorite soup tea?
Oh, her favorite tea. Her favorite tea is I think she would like herbal teas, right? Like chamomile fresh from the garden. It's really nice when you get like chamomile that's like it's still warm from the sun and then you brew it into tea.
Oh.
It's really nice.
Yeah. Oh, that's so nice.
So that, and I think she also would like a nice cup of like something that would be like a strong Assam or Ceylon in the morning. Some nice bracing black tea. Lots of milk and sugar. We are dessert tea people in this house. Her favorite soup is whatever Mazalink is making that day.
Fair.
I like to think that I can decide this. She learns enough from Mazalinka to start infusing magic into her soup. And so Portia's soup then becomes magically delicious.
That's why you got to play Portia's route, because then you can imagine yourself getting soup from the best girl in the whole world.
This isn't in Portia's route. Sorry, I had to.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Yeah. The game is literally ending, and Nick's Hydra is tea soup. Listen, we can keep it on topic.
I mean, it's on topic. The topic is chaos.
Yes.
There's a question of if Portia's had any past partners.
Sorry, 1 second. I'm asking a question.
Oh.
Probably, possibly. I haven't really thought about that. So I will say that there's no like canon answer to that. If you want to imagine that she's had relationships in the past, by all means, feel free. There haven't been plans to put one in. She's certainly close to a lot of the palace staff. Now I have a question for chat. Do you all want to see? I overestimated the amount of time that we'd have, and I overestimated how much I'd be able to draw. Do you want to see something special for Tazia?
Yes.
Yes.
Y'all aren't chat.
Listen here.
Override.
Y'all aren't chat.
Overruled.
I speak for the chat.
Oh, and yeah, Portia is a green and kitchen witch.
Oh.
That would be her specialty.
What are you, Lynn?
Me?
Mm-hmm.
As far as witchery?
Mm-hmm.
Nothing really. Like I don't practice whatsoever. I would consider myself a kitchen witch if I were anything. So here we have something you all haven't seen yet.
Entire
Tazia.
Yes.
Here, I'm going
Here's
to read
something
them
you haven't
exactly
seen.
as they're written. Yes, yes, yes. Oh my, yes, yes, yes,
Yeah.
yes, yes, Tazia.
Yeah, I was planning to draw this more, but like I overestimated how much I'd be able to finish, as always. You probably can't see it too clearly because of how screen limitations work. We'll work on that for some other time. But our girl Tazia gets a little bit of an update too.
I love her so much. I'm gonna cry. Again, joy.
I really love writing her. She's so much fun.
Here, before the chat, Tazia Root went. Even if it's only in my heart.
I mean, I would love to. Priorities. We have them, unfortunately.
Unfortunately.
There are many things that I would love to do if I had unlimited time and resources to make them happen. Alas, I am a mere flesh puppet, and I have to pay rent.
Yeah. But we're so proud of you.
Do we like Resident Evil, and do we know Lady Dimitrescu? Yes, yes,
yes.
yes.
Oh, yes.
Would we like to know her better? Yes.
Yes.
Giant woman. That's all I got.
Tall lady. Big. No thoughts.
Will kill you.
Yes.
It's not a can kill you, it's a will kill you.
It's just a matter of
Take me off this mortal coil.
So ready.
Here's the thing. I'm a big fucking I'm a big
no swearing in the stream.
I know. I'm sorry. I slipped. I'm sorry. I'm a wuss. I can't play horror games. I'll start crying. It's terrible. But I will watch other people play it, and I will watch other people thirst over Lady Dimitrescu. Very happily.
Oh, look at that happy.
We have a question about how we decided to design Tazia's ultimate form. So this is one of the cases where like we had a lot of collaboration between art and writing. We try to do this for everything, but like that one was especially like really heavy on that because it had to be both, story relevant, really cool, really interesting, very final boss. Gabby, I remember you had a Persona 5 art book that you were looking at too. So we kind of went a little bit off that sort of sense of like Tazia in her demigod form is very much like a force of nature, like an extremely like tempestuous primal force of nature. I know I gave input for like shipwreck things, so wood textures, stormy hair, that kind of stuff. That was a lot of fun. Oh, Gideon the Ninth. That's on my to-read list. I know Dev, who's Gabby and Maya's roommate, and the writer on Last Legacy. Dev really likes Gideon the Ninth.
What is that? Is that like a comic book or a...
It's a novel, yeah. Oh. I think I remember Dev mentioned lesbian necromancers.
Ooh.
What?
Sold.
Yeah.
I'm as far as I'm aware, it's sci-fi. There's probably lesbian necromancers in it, if I'm remembering correctly.
Someone in the chat said, I love the Phasmophobia stream. Thank you so much. I would prefer not to remember the Phasmophobia stream.
You poor thing.
For those who did not participate, and you don't have to participate, it was a massive humiliation for me. I couldn't get a door open first time playing for the first time, so I spent 20 minutes scream crying in the chat. So, prefer not to remember, but thank you for
part of the fun.
For you.
Fair enough for us. Like I said, that's why I don't play horror games. Everybody was like, "Oh, do you want to be in this Phasmophobia stream?" Phasmophobia scream.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah, that is what it is. And I said, not unless you want me to cry and just stand still in a corner.
If you want a stream that's just Lynn crying, me crying, and every single wuss at the office crying, like,
I mean,
I can't even say like the stream. I'm not doing that. Maybe for charity.
Maybe for charity.
For charity.
I'll do many things for charity.
Yes. Don't remind me of the door. No.
You can't escape. It haunts your dreams. It's waiting for you.
Kirsten, we are currently remote working.
Yes. All the merchandise leaves my house. It's in my house. It's in my garage. So, packed with love.
The box dungeon.
In the box dungeon. The box dungeon is me. Like the stream for a garage tour. We're not going to do that. You want to see a bunch of cardboard boxes?
I dare you.
Oh, wait.
You've brought up the possibility. Now you can no longer say no.
Oh.
How has that changed our pipeline? It actually kind of hasn't. I mean, it's slowed us down, as it, I think, has slowed everybody down. The unique challenges of working completely remotely, not being able to, like, meet in person for things. I will say, like, just personally, the biggest effect was on our creative meetings. So our editorials and our brainstorms have definitely gotten a lot more stilted because of just how, like, speaking to each other via voice only works, as opposed to, like, being in person. But a lot of our work was already done, with tools that were designed for remote collaboration. And so we just kept using those tools, except now they replace all of our in-person interaction. No more commute. That's nice.
That's true. I remember there was a time, because I started actually working with Nyx full-time in January of 2020, so I would drive from undisclosed location to our office, and I'd be like, I really wish I didn't have to commute like this every day. And then the monkey paw curled, in a way, so I don't have to commute anymore. I also don't have a garage anymore.
I mean, that's how it be.
Sierra, who is packing orders across my dining room table at the moment, which is where I have been doing all of the work, all of the everything for the past year. Sierra's like, it's all in our downstairs. So, it's fun. We have fun here. To circle back to how does it change pipeline? Well, we actually kind of get stuff out faster now because it's a little bit streamlined over here in merch. It does show up to my house, which can get me weird at sometimes, but it's fun. We have fun here.
You keep saying that, Aaron. I'm not sure how much I believe it.
We have fun, we promise. Also, someone said, "Where's a Peppy plush? It would literally change my life." I can work on that.
It would change ours too.
Yeah. Cuddleable. Because we just sent the Faust plush out, and Faust plush is so cute.
She is really adorable.
All right, guys, we have 1 minute left. If you guys have any other questions, now's the time to get those in.
Thanks for letting me crash your stream, guys.
Yeah.
I'm sorry if it took up all the air in the chat room.
Fine.
You're good.
Aaron, we talked about this. You have got to stop apologizing on auto reflex.
Yeah. Thank you guys so much, because I know that I started as a fan of the Arcana and it changed my life for the better, and I really appreciate all the hard work that you guys put in, because you are some of those creative people I've ever met, and it's an honor to work with you.
I love you too, Aaron.
Ooh, when will you all do another stream? We're talking about doing another one next week, I believe. Right, Lynn?
Or the week after. I'm technically on vacation next week. I can stream during my vacation. Please don't.
No.
Yeah, nobody talk to Lynn for the next week.
I'm gonna be asleep.
They worked really hard and they deserve it. So we're gonna let Lynn make a nest.
I'm so sleepy. Heck.
Everybody.
That wasn't a curse. That wasn't a curse.
Yeah, everybody send Lynn flowers because you deserve.
Please don't. Please don't. My address isn't on the internet. I would like to keep it that way.
Yeah.
Okay, and by the way, for people asking when the final books in Portia's Route are going to be released, I'm getting word from QA that at least on iOS and possibly on Android, it should be out. Please keep in mind it may take a little bit to percolate through with the way servers work. It may take a little bit for the update to get to everybody. We have pushed the button.
I can check on my phone right now.
I'm checking right now too.
See, is it? Is it?
I gotta update.
I don't have it on mine yet.
Well, it does take sometimes a while for it to percolate, but it should be out.
It has to go down the pipeline.
Yeah, it has to go through, with the way servers work, blah, blah, blah. It bounces through lots of different cloud servers. We have on our end pushed the button.
I have the newest chapter.
Please enjoy, you guys. I worked really hard on this. I hope you guys have a lot of fun.
We love you, Lynn.
Thank you. Love you too. All right, so I think that's a good note to end this stream on, yeah?
Yeah.
Go have fun. Play the ending chapters. Let us know what you think. We're really excited to keep going with you guys on this amazing journey, and I hope you guys will stick with us.
And come get your Portia merch.
Please come get your Portia merch. She is so cute. All right. Have fun.
Thanks, everyone.
I love you guys.
Bye, guys.
Thank you so much.